Hello traders, welcome to the weekly Outlook and Setups volume 170. Iliya here, and as always I'm really happy to welcome you on the Trading Fanatic channel. This week we're gonna have a monthly Outlook and Setups because the monthly candle has closed. This week we're entering into a brand new month, so happy new month, happy November. This is going to be a very good month because usually Q4 the market is moving amazingly, and usually it gets quiet after the second week of December. So let's make sure to finish strong. Let's make sure to focus, to follow our plans, and to finish the year strong. And of course, try to get us close to our goals, right? So as you know, the first video of the month, I also do a giveaway. So one lucky person that has been commenting on all the videos and has a heart badge, because I check every single comment that you leave, guys. I always respond personally. And the winner of this month is going to be Mr. Dean Perry. He's been here for a very long time, and very recently he left me like 10 comments all of a sudden because he's probably been absent from the chart. So congratulations, Dean. Looking forward to having you in the Fanatic team. You are gonna love it and your trading will skyrocket from there, right? So hopefully all of the other guys, you're gonna keep commenting every single month I'm doing this. And yeah, so if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I plan to start sharing on investing pretty soon, so let me know if you're interested about that. I share these weekly Outlook and Setups every Saturday, and once per week I give my best to share an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss when I publish the videos. And if you already did, well, let's head into the analysis. As always, we're gonna get started with a Dixie. Huge moves today. A lot of news, a very busy week. Before we do that though, shout out to my amazing broker, Forex.com. They're great. They have all the assets, all the currencies, all the cryptos, all the commodities that you wish to trade with amazing spreads. And they also have two types of accounts, but I opened an eco account. You're going to pay a little bit of commission, but every single lot that you accumulate will go towards planting 10 trees. So make sure to visit their website. It's down in the description. Check it out, open your eco account, and let's trade with the first green broker out there. So back to the Dixie. You can see right now I am on the monthly time frame, and what we have is pretty much 4 consecutive bullish months. The market just expanded, like even since June 2021, we have been in this absolutely massive uptrend, right? Just massively pushing up. And yes, right now we're tapping into a very delicate area right there. It's a monthly zone. It's very big. Like, I mean, this zone is what is it, 10,000 pips or something, 9,000 pips. So that is a pretty big zone. And as you can see, we just came in inside right now. We tapped around 114 and we started rejecting, right? So the market on the Dixie, the dollar, is absolutely bullish right now, but it has been very bullish for quite a while. Last month closed as an indecision candle, also as an inside bar. So what I always tell you about inside bars is that they usually then tend to break out, right? And we have to then take the mother candle. So this is currently our mother candle. It was the September candle, right? So what we can expect this month potentially is either another inside bar, of course, or the market to either break out to the downside, took out this mother candle low, or to break out to the upside and take out the high. Okay, so what is gonna happen? Well, we don't know. There is nothing much more to extract from the monthly. This is why I usually don't look at the monthly. It's bullish, so we don't have much information. So transferring onto the weekly, right, we can immediately start seeing a little bit more details, right? On the weekly, we are perfectly bullish so far. Why? Well, because we have this push, higher high, higher low, higher high. The market then attempted to make a higher low right there. It tried to push up, it failed. And when this happens, usually the market tends to take out this low as potential liquidity and then expand, right? So we were staying within this demand, which we actually tapped last week, and this week opened. But have a look at the candle, right? It pushed all the way up and once again rejected and closed as a pretty much indecision, a very sharp rejection, right? Pin bar. It doesn't really matter what we call it. What matters is that we understand the psychology behind, right? So a lot of selling pressure came in. First of all, this week, interest rate hike, right? 75 basis points. Right now, the United States is again getting the lead in terms of the interest rate, right? They're even above Canada right now, which also hiked their rate recently, right? This week also, we have Australia. We have, no, Europe was previous week. We have Australia. We have Great Britain as well, Bank of England, Royal Bank Australia, the Fed, and I think we even had one more that hiked the rates this week. So pretty huge. NFP added new jobs, right? So it added 261k jobs, right, to their market. But also you can see the unemployment rate is 0.1% bigger. So this is kind of a little bit contradictory right there. But yeah, so why I'm looking at those stats is because actually Friday we went on a sell-off, and although NFP was positive and all of that stuff and the interest rate and all that stuff, we actually went a little bit down, which makes me think, okay, why, right? But currently there are so many factors. We had so many news this week. This is actually one of the worst weeks that I've been trading. So volatile, so uncertain. It keeps chopping. It's very hard, right? I'm actually having a losing week. It's not big. I'm gonna show you on EU. But yeah, pretty much weekly, it's still bullish, right? So let's see, dropping onto the daily then, you can see how we actually started this week, right? Monday, very nice bullish. Tuesday, kind of pullback. Wednesday, nice push. Thursday, nice push. And then all of a sudden on Friday, just boom, massive engulfing candle, right? So why is this happening? I don't know. But technically, once again, if you remember from my last outlook, the daily time frame is still trading within this range. So weekly is bullish and daily is bullish. We pull back, we tried to tap, we tried to push, we failed, we came back again. But you can see this level right there and even this level right there are still holding. So I am still bullish on the dollar in terms of the hard time frames, but then we drop to the 4H. Let's see what is happening right there. So we pretty much started very nicely right here. So we started with this little correction right there. We had a very nice push. Then the market came back and actually gave us a long setup from this demand. It pushed up. It actually took out the high, right? Hard high. Then the market pulls back. We were looking for longs once again right there on Wednesday, but then some sort of news came in, just boom, massive liquidation. Everybody got stopped out that were potentially running longs. And then we actually got the longs, right? And technically right here, this one to me is not really valid. I wouldn't say that after a break of this one, we're actually going bearish, because my main range right now is this zone, right? This is the last kind of valid pullback before we pushed into the highs. So what is really key for me right now and how I'm going to end up my analysis is I want to see how the market is going to respond from this zone right there. Because it also went, I also had like a hard time frame supply right there, which it looks like we responded from there, right? And which pretty much right now turns into a little bit of a range. It fails to break the highs and it might fail to break the lows, so we can be stuck in the range. But in terms of the hourly time frame, if I see a break below this zone right there, I am gonna shift bearish on the hourly, right? So on Monday, what is key to observe is how the market is gonna hold from here. Okay, if we break below, then I'm bearish. I'm gonna be looking to see for potential continuations. If it holds, and let's say if the 50-minute actually starts to nicely trend into the highs and starts breaking structures, then I can say, okay, well, we're still bullish, so I might start taking longs, because again, Dixie is bullish overall. So I again don't see this, I don't see the sense behind this bearish push. So if any of you knows or maybe has a theory, let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is how I'm going to be ending the Dixie. It's so far bullish, but I'm looking at this bearish pressure, right? So we have a very nice pump up, a very nice pump down, which pretty much signifies indecision, right? If we actually measure the candles, they're probably the same, or even the bearish ones are a little bit less, which signifies more bearish momentum. So again, very uncertain time we're trading in right now. The price action is not amazing, very fast this week, very liquidity grabbing, huge wicks as well across the time frame. So be patient, let Monday play out, and then of course we strike as we have more data. All right, let's have a look at Euro USD. Well, pretty much the same as the DXY, but just in reverse, right? So if we pretty much do this, right, it's going to be exactly the same price action as the DXY, right? So they're pretty much 90% negatively correlated. So what we have is this very bearish month right there of September. Then right now, October closed again as an inside bar, right? So once again, as I keep telling you, well, we could have a breakout on either sides. How are we going to know this usually? Well, usually the market is going to break out with a hard time frame trend, which of course is bearish. So there is a high probability for the low to get taken instead of the high. But also if you zoom out a little bit, well, it's a little bit, we can always say it's extended, right? This is why I just keep following price and I don't try to pick the bottom, because we could have tried to pick the bottom here, the bottom here, the bottom right there, right? The market just keeps dropping and doesn't care what is low and what is high, right? So it just keeps dropping. So keep following the price. On this example right there, I don't have EU, we have on FXCM or on the Wanda, we have some old price action. But again, I don't care what is happening right there. All I care is what is happening right now. So nothing much to extract in terms of the monthly. So immediately dropping onto the weekly time frame. Similar development. So right now we are technically very bearish as well on the weekly. We're having this overall supply zone that we tapped in last week. We tried to reverse. It was looking bearish, but once again, it was actually Friday that made this massive rejection into the highs. Okay, so once again, we're still stuck in this range, right? This is our weekly range right now. So we're currently stuck in it for quite a while, right? It took 2 weeks to make this range down, and right now we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks already correcting. Okay, so this can mean two things. It's either just building up to expand to the downside, or it actually fails to break to the downside and it's gonna break higher. Again, we don't know. Dropping onto the daily, well, we came in very nicely inside the zone. We started rejecting very nicely. Monday opened bearish, Tuesday pullback, Wednesday massive wick and continuation, Thursday continuation, and then Friday just boom, engulfing candle, right? So technically on this one, what we have a little detail right here is that the daily is a little bit bullish. So if you can see, actually, this right there is a valid pullback, and then we dropped, and technically this one was broken right there. What broke this high? It's this demand right here. So technically this is a very strong demand, and I do think this is why we're responding from here. We can even refine it to that wick and drop to the 4-hourly time frame, and you're gonna see right here, this is actually the most extreme demand after this push. And a mistake that I used to do a lot in the past, which I don't do anymore, is this, right? Oh, demand zone, I'm gonna long from here. Oh, demand zone, right? I'm gonna long from here. Oh, demand zone, I'm gonna long from here. I want you to pay attention. I've said this numerous times, but maybe you have to relearn that lesson. As soon as the market shifts bearish, which happened right there, we are bearish, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of demand we tap in, we just keep following the lower highs and lower lows. And this is why structure is king, right? And if you actually learn how to combine supply and demand with structure, this is all you need. And in fact, it's pretty simple. So of course, those are, I call them reaction zones. So those are zones to the left that the market can potentially stop, create your lower high, and then flush, right? So this is why we have those zones. And again, we can say right now in hindsight, okay, it was that zone that actually respected, cool, right? I don't pretend that I knew the market is gonna reverse. We saw it from the daily, we saw it reacting, so we can of course use it right now as confluence. What happens right now is this, to me right here, is a nice pullback, but even if this is, yeah, this one is a bit tricky. It kind of nicely pulled back, but the pullback, it just took 4 hours, right? And usually, again, a little insight, I want to say at least 8 hours of pullback, right? This candle right there is not pullback because it made a low. This is the pullback candle, and then we drop, okay? So technically, to me, it's exactly the same as the Dixie. This right now is my major high. It's coming very close to break it though. So if it breaks it, I'm gonna shift long bias maybe, and then potentially target even this high, right? But if it holds and starts to push down, then I might start considering shorts as well. So currently, exactly right now, after Friday's close, which was NFP, it is very hard to forecast, guys, right? It's very hard because we had also all of the news and all of that stuff, and I just can't tell you right now. I would tell you to short, but again, the market is so high right now that I just think it's gonna break the zone, right? But let's say it doesn't break it and maybe starts breaking structure on the 50-minute lower, then I'm gonna consider shorts, right? Because technically, I still consider my 4-hourly range. I'm not 100% sure because this can also be a structure break to some of you, right? Or a trend change. So let me know what you think, because if this is it, then you actually should be looking for longs, right? But for me, this is my last resort right there. So if this one holds, then potentially I can take a short. But if it breaks, then I'm gonna be looking for even for an aggressive long, because usually right now what we have is, again, potentially, yeah, it's not really Elliott wave because it took way more waves, right? So we have, yeah, well, this is the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so that was a lot of waves, and this could be the first reversal. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the highs, and then we can reverse, right? And usually the first pullback is not gonna be deep. The first pullback happens at 30%. Okay, so this is pretty much my outlook. If we break above this zone, I'm gonna be looking for a 30% pullback, higher low, and then taking it into the highs. And then from there, of course, we're just gonna adapt, because I think on a day-by-day time frame, I don't care about what's gonna happen this week. So that is EU right now. It's very simple, but once again, it requires for you to wait for Monday to play out and just see what's gonna happen. get the feeling of the market. Don't rush to trade in Monday open, right? Let's see. Okay. I just want to quickly show you my trades as well. I didn't think it's going to be, because I usually do the trading setups breakdown if I take a lot of trades and if I see that really the week is good and I have some value to share. This week it was just messy. Very, very, very messy. No clear setups to find. So actually I tried to long this one right now. The 50-minute was in the correction phase, but I thought we were going to come in and tap this supply zone, which we kind of eventually did, but it did some trickery until it did that. So again, Asian range, you see, if you've watched my Asian range video, you probably know where I'm coming from. Took out Asia, reversed, higher low. I tried to long from here, no setup, higher high from there. And then I tried to get in from here, right? So that is pretty much you see how I just flow with the market, right? The market comes in, takes the liquidity that I wish to see. It was very, 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 not very nice right there. I would actually, yeah, debate a little bit if we actually have a very nice liquidity grab, right? Because here we come in, we start to chop. And this is actually my first entry that I took with half risk simply because I wasn't trusting this one, right? And what actually happened is I got a stop loss on this one because my broker went below this wick, right? It threw a nice wick and got me a stop loss. So that was my first stop loss for the week, which was a half risk. And then I immediately saw after the liquidity grab, it shifted up, then it shifted down, and then it shifted up again right there. So I re-entered from here. So this is my second trade of the week. It gave a good response. It went low to the lows right there, respected, started climbing, then all of a sudden, boof, stop loss, right? So I'm not sure if I actually managed this one at break even or it was just a full stop loss. I think it was actually full. I don't know, because it was way too fast to manage. So yeah, this is pretty much my trade. And then this one came in, but I did not take this one because it came so close to breaking it. And I just knew that, yeah, this one is failing to hold, so we can possibly take out the low and then reverse. But after we took out the low, then there wasn't a setup for me to take. So pretty much I missed this overall long move that I kind of knew it would happen, but unfortunately you can see I got stop loss. Some of my members took this one, but I think they took it with a highly bigger stop loss, so they got a break even on this one. So very, very, very messy day. That is my Wednesday. Thursday, no setups. Actually, Monday and Tuesday also very tricky. There were some setups, but I remember one of them was with a bigger stop loss. Friday, I tried to take a short, which you can see I was actually wrong on this one. Well, again, the hard time frame were shorts. I was looking for shorts. The market came in, actually took out this high as liquidity, then it shifted on the 50-minute to the downside. So then I was looking for the retest, right? And that retest took years, right? It took so much time. So first we came in right there, but then there was no entry setup for me to enter shorts. First here, even from here, it kind of liquidity grabs, then it comes in for another one, then it comes in for another one. So we have 3 runs into the highs, right? And it was here that we actually shifted the structure. So the market pulls back, enter from there. Good stop loss right there. By the way, all of these trades we took live with my community. So we all took some collective losses, which is always good because we're not alone, right? Gave a response very nicely, broke minor structure on the 1 minute. Then I reduced my stop loss, then just boom, reduced stop loss hit. So that is pretty much my third trade of the week. And finishing around let's just round it up 0.50% loss. Right, because I usually risk 0.25 on my live account. So yeah, this is my week on you. Very, very shitty. It's a losing one. It's the first one, but I don't care because we have a whole month ahead of us. So let's hope we actually get some clean price action going forward. And once again, focus, flow with the market. And again, a good lesson that I learned this week is if you have like such a massive news week, you just take a break, right? You just don't care. Let the madness, let the banks do their work. Let they stop loss all the retail traders. Let they blow your accounts, right? And then you come in when the market is actually clean, right? So hopefully you guys didn't lose a lot of money this week because it was tricky. Let me know how you went and hopefully you learned some important lessons. Let's have a quick look at Euro Yen. So the yen pairs have been really difficult to analyze, right? But if we just start from the monthly time frame, we can see that we have a structure break right there. Higher low formation, higher high, and right now can we have a pullback, right? So same things we do on weekly, hourly, 1 minute, 5 minute, it doesn't matter. Same things repeat on every single time frame, right? Higher high right now, so we could start expecting a potential higher low, right? Dropping onto the weekly, the market is also bullish right there. We have, however, a slightly different range because here we pulled back right there and then we pushed and made a higher high, right? So the monthly time frame is from looking like this, the weekly time frame is looking like this, right? So pretty much you can see the middle ground is right there, the 250%, and it's also a demand zone. So that looks like a pretty good area to potentially be looking for continuation longs. So let's actually draw this area, push on the weekly, pull back, right? This week, you can see, yeah, overall indecision again. So it opened, I'm not sure if it pushed up, down, and then up, or down, up, and then down, but we're gonna see this on the daily and the 4-hourly time frame, but nothing much to extract, right? Overall indecision. So once again, not much value getting from here. And yeah, then we actually drop on the daily and we can see the market open from here, right? So I think we actually had a short setup right here on the 4-hourly. Monday rejected, Tuesday bearish, Wednesday bearish, Thursday bearish, and Friday the rejection came in, right? So what I see a little bit is that we have a little range right there. So not very clear. This low, I think this low could potentially be a liquidity area. Why? Well, because this low failed to take out the high, which usually, again, as I keep telling you, if you have such a low that fails to make a new high, it usually gets taken and then we go, right? And then you pretty much, this is why you usually get that complex correction, if you didn't know. 4-hourly time frame, yeah, I do think, by the way, the JPY traders, I do think you could have gotten some setups this week, right? So I think from the weekly outlook, we kind of had this 4-hourly reversal right there, and it's probably this zone or that zone that we were looking. Actually, this is the original zone right there, because this is the push that broke this structure right there, right? So this one is actually invalid. It is this one, because the market comes in, responds, then comes back in and actually takes out these flat highs just with this wick. And then as you can see, it's right here that we align bearish, right? And then you can see we just have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower high right there as well with the wick, and then we all the way down towards the low right there. I would have expected this low to go, but we actually stopped and rejected. So yeah, overall bearish week. Let me know if you any of you guys actually took shorts. Definitely, I do think there could have been some shorts right there. So right now, if I really zoom in, it's very hard to spot the range. All of this looks like a push. Here we have, this is not valid. This is also not valid. And this is also kind of not valid. So really hard, because it's all very, again, as I told you, I need to see 8 hours of pullback, and I don't see the 8 hours of pullback. Here we have 4 hours of pullback. All of these candles made lows. Here we have 4 hours of pullback, 4 hours of pullback, right? So it's all just base candles. There is no valid structure to me, right? This is to me the last valid structure, right? But again, as you can see, we have, so for example, we have supply from here, and we have supply, we have supply from right there as well. So those are kind of the two supply levels that I will be looking at, because to me, this actually is the valid one, right? This is the valid one. And if you're looking to draw valid ranges, this is how I will draw it personally. So right now we're coming above 50%, potentially about to tap into supply. So let's see, similar to EU, if you remember, EU kind of has a similar outlook, like, but it's just with this wick. But if EU breaks above this wick, it's going to shift bullish, right? While EJ is just about to tap into that supply. So once again, as I told you, after NFP last Friday and after this massive momentum up right now, it's a bit hard to forecast. So what I would say is just let the market play out a little bit. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see how it's going to respond. And then we're going to strike after we have some clean price action. Okay. If you ask me for a scenario, this will be my scenario. A tap inside, and then potentially I'm going to be looking for an hourly or a 15-minute shift from this area. Of course, after this push right now, what is going to be very tricky is if the market starts bearish. So then I'm going to be like, okay, well, do I take a long into this zone, or do I just go for the continuation lower, right? That is going to be tricky. So if the market starts bearish, then again, give it some time, right? Give it some time. And of course, if you just base it on intuition and you expect that the market is going to take out the high, you can take a long. But of course, if you wish to just go with the downtrend, you can start taking shorts. Okay, so those will be my scenarios. Of course, let's see what's going to happen, and stay tuned for my Tuesday outlook. All right, let's have a look at the Aussies, starting from AU. So once again, on the monthly time frame, well, we are in a very nice push down right now. And as you can see, last month closed as a very nice doji, very nice indecision. So does that signify that a potential lower low is formed so we can initiate a pullback? Well, definitely could be. Right, could be. We can see that already this month is starting with a very nice push up, right around 220 pips, which is very good. So yeah, can we expect for the market to continue with a little bit of a correction, right? Maybe towards, yeah, there is not really valid ranges on the month. Like the only valid range is here, which gives us like an overall 50% and this little supply, right? So this is a potential area we can be looking in terms of the monthly. But once again, I don't care that much about it. So I'm immediately going to go to the weekly. And here we can see, yes, it makes more sense. This is kind of the last clean pullback. And then we have this massive drop. So I would even draw a range like this. And once again, you can see, yeah, we have that last stop. You can see this was potentially demand. The market responded and then it broke. So this turns actually into a very nice flip zone. Something that oops. So this is demand, this is supply, right? And yes, right now it looks like we're in a little bit of a pullback mode, right? But you can see last 2 weeks are just indecision wicks, right? So this one is doji. This one is slightly bit bullish, more like a pin bar, right? But nothing much to extract except for the fact that we can say it's slightly bit more bullish. So I would expect first to have a deeper pullback on this one. So Aussie dollar, can it turn bullish? Well, possible, right? And if you drop on the daily, yeah, daily is a little bit tough right now because to me, this price action right there is very hard to read. Right, so pullback, wick down, up, wick, chop, 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 push up, pullback, then it pushes up. But where is actually our major lower high on the daily? Well, I would say it's this, right? Because this is the last push. All of this is kind of part of this push, right? The market comes in, actually respects this one. It starts to push down, right? And right now it taps into zone and massively expands higher. Okay, so does that mean that we are about to make an MSS formation and shift up and potentially break this supply in order to come in higher towards a weekly zone? Or are we just coming in for a liquidity grab similar to EU in order to continue down? So that is my main question, right? Exactly the same setup as EU, actually, exactly the same. This week has been very tricky for AU in terms of entry opportunities as well. My team have quite a few from the Fanatics that are trading AU, and I think it's a quite a tricky pair this week. I think one of my guys took like 5-6 losses in a row, but of course only one trade is gonna bring them down. But again, you can see we had kind of the market shifting up, tapping this down, then liquidity grab up, then it starts massively rampaging down. So not very clean, not very clean. And what we have right now is exactly the same situation as EU, right? We have this wick right there that is actually, well, according to me, once again, according to me, this is the push, and this right there is not a reversal to me, right? This one was a valid supply. We can see actually how the market responded with a little indecision right there, and then it massively pushed, right? But to me, similar to EU, if you break above this level, I will be looking for a pullback and a long trade, right? But if we hold below this level and the 50-minute like starts to nicely shift to the downside, then I will start looking for shorts. Okay, so again, it's all about adapting with the markets. Because right now we can see that similar to EU kind of, we have all of these demand zones, but it was actually the last one that got responded. Did we actually take out this one? Oh no, we actually held from this one. So it was actually this one that held and a massive reversal to the upside. So again, let's flow and let's see what's going to happen. I am so far bearish right now just in terms of structure, but I see where the momentum is going. So I get a feeling we actually might get that bullish reversal. So let's see. Monday is going to be very key for all the pairs. And I'm probably not going to look at this one again. Just look at this. Let's check the monthly. Oh, even the monthly is looking bad. Yeah, well, overall push up, but look at this. Since April, wick up, wick down, wick up, indecision, 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 bullish. Oh yeah, this is the new month. So not good, not clean. If I was trading this pair, I would just forget it for a while. I hope Euro USD doesn't get like this because I'm going to be depressed. So tap, yeah, technically it's still bullish again, as we've been speaking. In terms of the weekly, it's bullish. Last 2 weeks, absolute indecision. So this is a big indecision on the monthly, big indecision on the weekly. Daily looks a little bit more structured, but also the daily is like this madness right there. And then Fowley is also very mad. So I'm just saying, guys, avoid trading this one, because I don't know even how to break down this one. So very recently, this one, but no, we're still technically trading within this wicks, because this high then broke the low, then broke. No, man, this is just way too tricky, because I think we're still trading within this kind of push, and all of this is correction, and we're potentially about to attack this low, but to fail to take out the low, and right now we're just pulling back for a liquidity grab. right? So I will be interested to see. I don't even know where my valid supplier is, so I'm just gonna take a big range like that. So I'm interested to see how it's gonna respond from here and potentially how it's gonna take out these flat highs right there, right? So if we come in right here and we start shifting very nicely down, then I would say shorts, right? I would say shorts, but again, it depends on AU and it depends on UJ. So I just see no sense in breaking this down. And if you guys are trading AJ and even NJ, just step aside for a while from those pairs because they don't look very good. Right, so I'm gonna leave it here. Make sure to just focus on the Aussie. It looks much cleaner. And but yeah, we first need to see where the big guys are really gonna go. Do they want to go higher, or are they do they want to continue shorting? Okay, so let's see. Stay tuned for Tuesday. Well, as we have been discussing recently, the NZD has been a little bit stronger than the Aussie, which is good to see because this currency has been really weak, and it's usually weaker than the Aussie. Right now, this one is shifting, right? It's stronger than the Aussie right now. Look at the monthly candle closure. Very nice bullish candle, potentially forming a new lower low. And right now, we already have a continuation, right? Well, not a continuation, but we're seeing that the pullback is starting to initiate. So we already have some bullish momentum. As you can see on the weekly time frame, we're not chopping around. Very nice engulfing candle. Pretty solid continuation. It threw a nice pullback and then it continued higher. And a very solid continuation this week. We started with a wick low and then we just closed bullish. So very happy with the overall development of NZD/USD. And actually, like for the Aussie traders, oftentimes NZD/USD and Aussie/USD are going to move similar, but sometimes you can see the Aussie starts to chop a little bit and then it's time maybe to go on the NZD. Because you can see the NZD, unlike the Aussie, it actually formed a bullish structure break right there, a bullish trend change. What caused it? It was this one that caused it, right? The tricky part is we came in, broke the high, broke the low, and right now it was Friday that actually responded in the original direction. Okay, so I do think actually, yeah, okay, well, I might take my words back because this one looks definitely choppier than the Aussie, right? So it was just a range here. While the Aussie made a little downtrend, this one is just a range. But if we look carefully at it, yeah, still we have that wobbly pullback right there, and we still have this kind of wick. But I do think this wick on EU, AU, and NU, it's gonna break. Like, it just doesn't make sense for it to hold right now. We came in very deep inside the zone, very nicely, and right now we're starting to respond. Unfortunately, on all the pairs right now, we do not have an immediate setup. Because when do we usually have an immediate setup? If the market is at a lower high, so we can say short it, right? Or if the market is at a higher low, so we can say long it, right? If we are in a push phase and the market is about to make a high, we have no setup, right? Because you don't want to buy high, right? You don't want to buy it from here, right? You don't want to go on the 50-minute right now and potentially plot a buy right there because it's so high. And you don't want to sell it because you're just going to be selling a push, which is not good, right? So again, NZUSD, it's looking definitely bullish. I would just say give it some time once again. Let's see if it's going to break above. If it breaks above, wait for the pullback and then go on a continuation. Okay, this is just what I see right now. Nothing more. NJ, look at that chop, but again, NJ, you can see it was stronger. It's the only pair that actually broke above these shitty wicks right there, right? Then it came down a little bit, and as you can see already, it's breaking the high, so it's making a higher high. So what I'm just only gonna say on this one, we have that little base candle, right? That can act as a potential demand. Here we have 8 hours of pullback potentially, so we can take your range from here, but I'm just going to take it from there. And you can see 50% perfectly resembles right here, but I know the JPY pairs, especially on their first push, they don't tend to pull back big. So wait for a little pullback, higher low, and then go for the continuation. This is what I would say for NJ. Monthly time frame, look at the bullish engulfing last month. That is huge. So I do think this one pulled back on the monthly, 50% tap, second 50% tap, and it's potentially going to attack the high. So again, longs are high probability on NZD/JPY. So let's hope we catch them, right? So if you're actually trading a JPY, NJ looks the best. So let's see what it does. Here is Mr. USD/JPY on steroids, right? Just a massive monthly run into the highs. We had 1 month of a slowdown, 2 months of slowdown, and yeah, last month closed as a massive, again, bullish candle. Yeah, it looks like a pretty, we can see, yeah, I can't really do this, but here we have 2 bullish moves before a drop, 1 before a drop, and right now we have 3. So is it time we have a bearish month? Well, maybe, right? But this is the wrong kind of approach because it's, yeah, it's not systematic, right? But yes, we're already starting with a little bit of a pullback, which is very good, right? So of course we can draw an overall monthly, which would actually be a weekly range, because you can see this is the last valid weekly pullback. And then since then we have been pushing for quite a few weeks, right? So for 8 weeks we have been pushing up, right? And technically right now this is our big range. This is our big range. Of course, if you wish to know your base, it's right there, right, in terms of the weekly. But again, does it make sense for the market to pull back 12,000 pips to tap there? No, not at all, right? So again, I would be playing more the daily on this one. And the daily is also bullish. You can see the daily, the push started from here and it ended there. So technically this is my daily high low. And you can see we actually tapped it right there. 27th of October, we reacted, came in again, reacted, and we're just chopping right now. So you can see the very recent price action right there is choppy in terms of the daily. And then of course dropping onto the 4H, well, we had a foil reversal somewhere right there, right? Just look at this price. This is unreal. Like just boom, 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 just bang down, right? Technically we have 8 hours of pullback right there. So I could say that this is my foil reversal. Then we pull back, then we actually make a new lower low. Then of course, if we ask, well, what caused this lower low? Well, I would even say according to my rules right now, I would say it was this. This one came in, responded and broke, right? Then what actually broke this one? Well, yeah, it was this one, but this is not valid. This one is valid. So technically then I'm just doing my stuff right there, guys. So just coming to the end of this analysis. Here we broke down, then we pull back. This is a short. The short gets TP. If you take a short from here, lower low gets reached. And then this massive wick, right? Just massive boom, boom. Ah, man, this is tricky. It's giving me a hard time. But technically here, we reversed bullish for a bit. And then if we asked actually what caused this bullish move, well, the question is it this one or is it actually this wick, right? So this wick right there, what was this wick? Was it, what did we have on Wednesday? Was it CPI or... Yeah, I forgot what we had on Wednesday. We had NFP or the Fed rate. Yeah, oh, I think it was the Fed rate, right? The second of... Yeah. Okay, this is the Fed and the FOMC. Right, so this week. So again, USD/JPY, it's tricky right now. I can't even get to the right structure right now. Well, but overall, it's only the 4-hourly time frame that is right now changing. Weekly bullish, monthly bullish, daily bullish, right? It's just the 4-hourly that is a little bit up and down. But yeah, I will be interested to see how it goes from this wick as well, right? This is a not very nice demand zone to draw, right? But this to me was the last lower high. It caused the low and then it caused the break of this lower high. So to me, the 4-hourly aligned bullish. My only question is if this right there is a break, right? We have a similar thing on EU, on AU, right? So if this is a break, then we're technically bearish, right? So we can have something like this and a short, right? But of course, we can also consider a potential long from here. So that is my outlook on USD/JPY. It's not very clean, right? So again, I'm definitely giving Monday to play out next week, right? And then seeing like what the vibe of the market is, how it's gonna start, how it's gonna kind of take out all of this pressure from NFP, and then of course I'm gonna just start flowing with the market. So give it some time, don't rush. I am just looking at USD CAD on the monthly time frame, and there are so many ways to break down this pair on the monthly, and it really depends on how you understand structure and what is a valid structure to you, right? Because for example, here we had a break of structure, right? Here you can say you had another one. If you count this as a pullback, here we have a shift. So here you take a short from there, right? But if you count this to be your push, then this is your demand zone. And as you can see, it holds and it goes for the highs. But then it actually fails to take out this high, right? So technically it came in to take out this low, right? And it's still bullish, right? So what I try to say is this right there is a very, very, very strong demand zone that hasn't been broken for quite a while, right? Oh, this is 2015 demand zone and it hasn't been broken. But if you also look at the very, very, very recent structure, well, you see you had a shift right there, pullback. So then technically this is the high that shifted. Here we have a break of this high. What caused this break? It was this pullback. This pullback right there gets broken. So we turned bearish, right? So we short right there. And then technically you can say that this is your range. Well, this range gets broken here. So technically right now we are bullish. But what I can also say is that it was actually this range that broke the structure, because here we actually don't have a valid pullback. We just have 1 month of a pullback. And once again, I don't have actually precise rules for the monthly, right? So I maybe have to work on this one. But again, so many ways to look at this, right? So many ways. We can see right now it's tapping like at this overall zone right there, although this is not like entirely correctly drawn. You can take the wick, you can take the whole candle again. So many ways to look at this price, okay? Very recently, we had 2 months of very big bullish pressure, which is, let's just direct our attention to once again what is happening right now. 2 months of bullish pressure. Last monthly candle closed as a bearish one, so potentially a higher high. And right now we were having a nice continuation already during this month. Weekly time frame, yeah, so definitely to me, it is either this overall pullback or this one. So I'm gonna take a demand from here, and of course we have an overall demand from there. Okay, so it's a bit tricky because I don't have rules for weekly, daily, monthly, weekly, and daily ranges. I have for 4 and 50 minute because this is pretty much what I use. Okay, but as you can see, this is where the weekly structure break happened, right? So then we ask, okay, what actually caused the break? Is it this low or is it that low? Right? So technically, if we come in towards these kind of areas right there, then that is going to be the long area. So right now, just keeping this hard time frame bias in mind, we can say, okay, well, maybe we can short this pair into these lows, right? And as you can see on the daily, here we broke the high, and right there we broke the low. And although it's with a very little move, it is a break, right? And then we can see we pull back. It was this supply, right? You can even take that one, but this is a supply, but it's not a valid range because it made a lower low, right? So technically it was this pullback. It was this pullback that broke the low, right? So this candle is part of this push, right? And as you can see, then we come in, and usually those candles that actually pull back into the supply act as liquidity. We tap inside and we sell off, and right now we create another structure break on the daily, leaving us with another strong high on the daily, right? A nice lower high. So coming from all of this analysis, well, I can say I'm bearish on USD CAD right now. It's actually looking very nice. It's already breaking structure. This wick that we have across all pairs, it's already demolished on USD CAD, big time, right? So right now it's just in a very nice push phase down. So what happens after the first push phase? You get a little pullback, as I keep telling you. So if you wish, this is a valid pullback. Why? 8 hours of pullback. So I would actually take my range from here. As it stops, right? As it stops pushing, take your normal fib. Why did it draw it like this? Or is it in the reverse? Oh, there we go. Take your fib. 38.2 to 30% is all you need, right? So if you have a pullback right there, then drop to a lower time frame and look for the reversal, right? Look for the continuation. So I'm bearish on USD CAD, and again, just coming on from that top-down analysis, I do think we have a little bit of space down, but as the Fed rate right now is being hiked, and also the Canadian rate is very close to the Fed rate, right? But it's lower. Well, it makes a little bit more sense for the CAD to fall, right? So let's see. I'm bearish on USD CAD right now. Let me know what you guys think about UCAD. I know a lot of you are trading it. But yeah, this is how I would personally look into it. So let's see how it's going to play out. Let's have a look at the pound pairs. So starting with GU, well, it's a very tricky situation for the pound because, yeah, you know, we reached all-time lows, right? 1.04, and we massively rejected from that level. And technically, we are having an inside bar once again for October. And right now, we're again starting a little bit slow, right? So I find it very hard to analyze the pound right now, especially on the hard time frames, because if you drop to the weekly, right, to me, this is the last weekly pullback. So if I draw a weekly range, it's gonna look something like this, right? And you can see we're already above 50%, and we're tapping inside this little base, right, which is a valid supply zone, but it's not a valid lower high, right? There is a difference between structure and supply and demand. So we tap inside, and actually we see a very good reaction on the weekly, a very nice, it's not a bearish engulf because it actually did not engulf with the body, the previous candle, right? It just went with the wick and then it returned back. So yeah, kind of a strange development. And as you can see also in terms of the daily, well, the daily also. So actually going from the weekly to the daily, on the daily, this is my valid pullback, and then it's part, and then this whole push is just the push. So all of this right there is internal. Okay, so we tap in, responded, then we tap in again, responded right now. And if you're looking actually for the minor structure or for the substructure or whatever it's called to align, then you need to see this one to break, right? Which is not a foul, it's actually the daily zone, right? Because we're potentially responding from this one. But again, this is daily, and this is why I don't use daily too much, is because it's always contradicting the foul. Because if I drop to the foul right now, the market is bearish from a long time. Right, and you can be taking shorts right there. So look at this. This is the last valid break, right? It has 8 hours of pullback, and this is the actually the 4-hourly reversal right here, right? All of this, of course, right now technically it was a correction, and this is where we broke. We just gave a little pullback and then we expanded. So here again, this is not valid to me, right? To me, it's again the wick. To me, it's the wick, similar to like EU, AU, and all the pairs. This is to me the valid lower high, right? This, however, is a valid supply, right? So I'm gonna say I'm overall bearish on the pound right now, and but yeah, it just doesn't look very good right now. Like you see, chopped around all week and just expanded massively on Thursday and then massively expanding on Friday. So I'm gonna be giving it some time. But if I'm to take any shorts, the first short is gonna be from here, the second short is gonna be from there, right? So let's see, the 15-minute again is very bullish on Friday. You can see just chop, 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 boom, the liquidation, and then we just continued going higher. Actually, a long right there could have been taken. A very nice continuation long towards the zone. So yes, pretty much. And this is actually a range created by an Asian range on Thursday. So that's not very good, because you can see the Asian range is usually liquidity. It has very flat highs, so it can also get taken. Okay, so that's GU. I don't have a setup on GU right now. I don't have a setup actually on none of the pairs right now. They're all pushing. This one is actually pulling back, right? This one is actually making a push and it's pulling back, but we need to see the alignment, right? We need to see the alignment on the 15, maybe even on the hourly if you're using a higher time frame. So wait, right? Don't rush to short, because you're going to be shorting against this massive momentum right now. And GJ. Well, GJ printed a very massive bullish candle last month, and right now we're starting to pull back. Well, technically, we have also a break of structure, which is good. Break of structure on the monthly. Then on the weekly, well, yeah, on the weekly, this is our major higher low. It's a wick. I don't want to take this because it's going to be a way too big zone. But we can, however, take this little guy right there, which is going to be resonating with the overall 50%. Okay, not really, because yeah, the 50% is almost towards breaking it, so that's not very nice. Daily time frame, we can see that we can be going a little bit. This is why I don't like the daily, right? Because okay, weekly is bullish, but then it dropped on the daily, right? Daily right now is probably about to shift bearish a little bit, right? And then you drop to the 4-hourly and something completely different happens. So on the 4-hourly, we're actually bearish already. So if I zoom in, this is the last break, right? What caused this break? It's this low, right? And this low got broken right here. So technically right now, the 4-hourly momentum is absolutely down. Absolutely down, but we're tapping again into this demand zone. Yeah, this one can get taken. I don't think it's gonna hold. Could be, right? Could be. And if I try to find my valid range, it's gonna be very, very, very hard. Yeah, very hard. Very hard with all of these kind of choppy price action right there. So yeah, I don't know what to say on this one. Well, we can start looking for supply zones like this on the left, and stuff like this, but it's just not valid. If I really zoom in, you can see here we have 4 hours of pullback, but the next one kind of breaks then pulls back. So this can be valid. One candle of pullback, the next one breaks. This one doesn't even pull back validly, so it's just not clean. Right, it's just not clean. But I know GJ like loves to work with the break and retest and just momentum, so that's good. So hopefully you guys are crushing it. But to me right now, in terms of market structure, in terms of ranges, in terms of also top-down analysis, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so again, wait on it. I would say the high probability trade is short right now with the 4-hourly time frame. But yeah, keeping in mind that we're overall bullish, but we can be creating a little bit of a pullback on the weekly and the monthly. Let's see. I'm just gonna leave it there and just wait for some price, and I'm gonna update you on Tuesday, because right now it's just not at a proper position as well. I don't want to short from here because I don't have anything on the left. Well, maybe you have this wick, but I wouldn't really short from there. I wouldn't also long, because we're not long bias, and I don't have a 4-hourly reversal to take a long, right? So definitely no trade. So give it some time, and of course the setup is gonna come to us. Allow the setup to come to you. Let's have a look at gold. So on the monthly time frame, we closed as a inside bar actually, right? So we have this very nice bearish candle, and the month of October closed as an inside bar. So once again, what does that mean is we can have a breakout of the mother candle, right? If you also remember, we're tapping into a very strong level, 50% right there, around 1620, right? Which is also like a quarterly push, right? So if I go to 3 months, this is the quarterly push that caused the breakout structure, and we pull back to 50%, which is again very important, right? Monthly time frame doesn't tell me a lot right now, but we can see we're already starting with a massive bullish pressure this week. So going to the weekly time frame, we can see actually we have been chopping around right there. We have a little bit of a confusion once again because weekly is bearish, right? And the valid range on the weekly starts from here to there, but we pull back to 50%. We tap into a valid supply zone right here, which is also weekly supply zone, but then we refine it, I think, on the daily, on the hourly. It responded, but it failed to break the low. On 2 occasions, it failed to break the low, and right now we're responding into the highs. So very strange delivery, right? Then coming into the daily, well, technically this is where the daily shifted, right there. What caused the shift, if we track it down, it's this low right there. And as you can see, we tap inside, we hold from the low, we tap inside again, and once again we hold from it, right? And once again right now we are aligning bullish. So I'm just actually gonna take this one because it's a daily alignment, right? So yeah, it's very strange, but I would say, well, bullish right now. It's already breaking this high, like this similar wick that we have on EU, AU and everything. It's already demolished, right? And all of this happens around Thursday. So Thursday just tagged the low, it took out this low, right, to probably stop out some people that were holding longs. And then just paired the Thursday news. I don't remember what we had on Thursday, but paired those Thursday news with NFP, it just expanded, right? This is the first massive push like this. So again, knowing like the momentum pairs, they don't tend to pull back too much. So again, if we have a pullback and then if the 50-minute starts aligning, I would be going for a long trade, right? And then as we have a new higher low created, then I'm going to be looking for 50% and then I'm going to long it again. Okay, so actually to me, this is a very good signal. So this low fails to break here and failed to break here. So this one definitely looks strong. And this low is part of this daily push. The market came in, accumulated, last liquidity gap, and right now we're starting to buy. So do I see some longs on gold? Well, probably. But where are we eventually gonna go? Well, can we actually take out the inside bar high? Sorry, this is the mother candle high, right? Could be. So again, gold traders, you know that I'm not very experienced in gold. I'm actually not trading it, but I love breaking it down and I always appreciate your feedback. What do you think? Are we going up from here? What do you think about this bullish push? Where do you expect the pullback to take place? Right, I'm personally calling around, I don't want to count precise numbers, but if I just take a fib, usually knowing like how the market respects with momentum, I would even take not even 38.2, I'm even gonna take just a 30%. I'm not gonna draw it, but I would just take 30%, somewhere right here. Okay, so wait for the market to form a new higher high, wait for the higher low, and as soon as like the 50-minute aligns bullish, then I'm going to be looking to capitalize on some quick longs. As long as it goes longs, because again, something can happen, the sentiment can change. Right now, we're having a little bit of a risk-on perspective, right? We also saw the stocks are a little bit right now. They went down, but then they went up, right? Especially on Friday. So let's see, right? Let me know what you guys think on gold. I am currently bullish. Everything is shouting to me bullish, right? All right, we're about to wrap it up with some indices. So starting with US 30, we're still having this big quarterly push, right? So this is actually on the 3 months, right? A massive run into the highs, and we're still pulling back towards the 50%, towards like the mean value of this overall push, okay? Going on to the monthly candle, look at how the monthly candle closed, a massive engulfing candle, right? And you see we had this one right here, so it was not really engulfing candle, but it was a very nice bullish candle, but here we have a massive engulf. So the bullishness is starting to get a little bit stronger, right? But again, I would expect another lower low. So I still think about 28 right there on this pair and the 50% overall. Currently, we're still in a bearish weekly, right? So this is the last push before, this is the last lower high before we broke the low. This is not a valid lower high. It's a supply, but it's not a valid lower high, and it acted as liquidity. So we came in, took liquidity, and this week we are responding. But look at the bullish pressure coming in last month. Okay, so right now the market is gonna be awaiting something to make a move. Okay, because if I start dropping right now on the daily time frame again, you can see this week it wasn't a big deal this week. Monday chop, Tuesday chop, Wednesday we had the FOMC, it went down, right? Thursday kind of a pullback, and then Friday a little bit of a bullish. So it's starting to a little bit accumulate. I can feel it starting to accumulate a little bit, and it's currently bullish overall on the daily. On the daily, but on the hourly, what we can see on the quality, it actually shifted down. But the quality is just so it broke up down, then it broke here, then it went for liquidity gap, it broke down again. But right now this is actually a valid pullback and this is a valid reversal, so we should actually be looking for longs. So this is the higher low, it tapped in, and yeah, it then throwing wicks on NFP. So I'm gonna give this one some time. Okay, I'm giving this one some time, especially after NFP, because tap, boom, 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 it's just madness right now. The banks are doing their stuff, so I'm giving this one some time. It's in a very tricky place right now. It's tapping like a very big weekly zone right there. Also, you can see we have this daily range as well that got tapped. So is this tap enough in order to reverse? I don't think so. I think we can come in again, and then the daily will align with this higher low, right? Because if this is actually higher low, then it has to break the high, right? And then if the higher low breaks, then we have a trend change, and then we can start shorting. So I do think we have one more push, but again, I'm just going to be flowing with the market right now, especially on the 4H. Okay, so currently we are actually bullish. So the high probability trade on this index is buys, right? But again, we don't have a clear buy. So wait for Monday to play out, wait for actually for New York session on Monday to play out, and then you start trading. We can see actually Nasdaq held, so my outlook was shorts on this one because the quality aligned bearish. We pull back, we tapped first, tapped in second time, and then we actually started reversing. Let's go to the monthly time frame. We can see on US 30 we had a massive reversal, but the tech stocks, we know tech stocks are much weaker right now. So you can see the monthly candle is much weaker than the one on US 30. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, where we're having a very nice bearish engulf on this one. So this definitely looks like it's maybe even headed for the lower low. Right? It didn't even give us a nice pullback, this one. So isn't it not gonna give it? Is it just gonna drop? Well, possibly, because what we can also see is that right now the daily is aligning. So yeah, this right there, if we consider this to be the daily, it got actually taken, and I count wicks as breaks nowadays. But then you can see immediately we went and took out the higher low that took out this high, right? So after we took this one out, this becomes the major lower high, right? It held, and right now we have a new break to the downside, which makes a new lower high, which is not very clean to draw. So I'm just gonna take it like this, right? You can take the whole bearish candle, or you can go to like 12 hours to find a candle. Well, not really. So then you can do like 16 hours. Okay, I'm not gonna do this because it just doesn't appear. So then actually going on to the 4H. This is a very major zone, and on the 4H it's just choppy right now, and we don't have a valid range. So this one is just bearish. I just wick down. So I'm just gonna give it some time, and if this pulls back towards the highs, I'm gonna be really interested to short from here, right? I do think this index is very short. We have like stocks like Microsoft and another very important tech stocks that are just falling right now. Google, Amazon as well on a free fall. So I do think this index is the weakest of them all. So if you want to short something, then short the NAS, right? S&P, very interesting as well. So I was forecasting this one to get taken and this one, both of those got taken, which is very good to see. And then as you can see, the quality time frame reverses. What is the major high that caused the reverse? It's this guy. Right, so if you actually take let's say an 8-hourly zone, then you get the tap. Okay, so you probably could have taken a massive short right there. Going on to the monthly, we tapped 35, we tapped for 50%, we responded very massively, but I still think one more push to the downside, one more lower low. Not to say that I'm even looking at 32 to 30, because this is another a metric that I have right there sitting in. Weekly time frame, we're still bearish very nice on the weekly. We had a very nice push. We have a very nice 50% pullback. So it's actually looking like it's aligning very nicely bearish. In terms of the daily time frame, well, let's see. This one is just 1 day of a pullback before it broke. So technically the daily, here we have 2 days of a pullback. The daily is gonna align bearish after this break, right? But to me right now, the most important time frame is the hourly, which aligned very nicely from this big weekly zone. Okay, so this one is actually aligning bearish right now, and we are okay. This one is a bit tricky because here we might actually have a valid range because it's 8 hours of pullback. So here it might have shifted bullish just for a second, and what caused the shift to bullish could be this. And yeah, similar to US 30, we're having a little bit of a choppy development right now, so I'm definitely gonna give it some time. Maybe it gives us a push pullback. We can take a long into the zone and then start shorting it. Okay, because technically right now, On the daily, yeah, on the daily, as I said, this is currently our major lower high. So if you pull back towards this zone, then I'm gonna say short. And of course, this one is gonna get disrespected if the market wants to come in for another deep tap, maybe to take out even this high right there and tap in deeper into this big weekly zone. Okay, so this is how I look at the indices right now. And like fear and greed index, well, 1 week ago we were 60, and this week we haven't moved much, so the market is still very greedy, right? Very greedy. So that means, well, as the greed gets higher, people start longing. Well, it's time to go short, right? It's time to go short. So I would expect actually some shorts to start kicking in pretty soon. Okay, so those are the indices. And crypto, actually, Bitcoin, very nice response from 20k. It actually rose above 20k, formed a very nice demand zone. It came in, and I do think you actually can get a setup right there. Very nice high sitting in right here. So it's good, but I don't look at Bitcoin right now. I don't look at crypto until we get more development. But for intraday trading, like even in terms of just following the 4-hourly time frame, it looks good so far. We have a very nice high. So then you can be looking to trade from a macro, like I would say this is a, where did I go right now? I would say this is a daily zone or something. Yeah, definitely kind of a daily, even a 2 daily zone, I would say. So long, right? Long Ethereum, same story, right? It pulled back very nicely into the 4-hourly zone, below 50%, generated all the liquidity it wants, and right now it's going in for a new high. So technically you have a new range, and you can go long from this zone or either from the extreme zone, which is right there. Right, so those are cryptos, but I'm not trading in right now. I haven't had the time to pick stocks very recently, but I think it's gonna be a good time right now, especially some of them are very overextended down right now. So I think it's a good time to start looking to buy. But again, wait for the market to give you that retrace. And the economy is not looking very good with the interest rate hikes, a lot of debt within countries as well. I do think we're gonna get a crash, right? So pretty much we are in a crash right now, we're in a recession, but it's pretty optimistic so far. So I do think we're gonna get another drop. So let's see, right? But this is how I'm gonna end this long analysis, monthly analysis. Let me know in the comments if you loved it, right? Make sure to support the channel, hit the like button, guys. It really means a lot to me. And leave a comment about your thoughts about your favorite pairs, what you're gonna be looking for next week, and how you also performed this week, right? Wishing you a lovely weekend and a crushing week, a crushing month ahead of you, and speak to you on Tuesday.